Let's rewind to ancient Spain, back to a time before the country as we know it even existed, when the land was wild, untamed, and full of mystery. This was long before tapas and flamenco, before the rise of great cities and the blending of cultures that would define Spain centuries later. The Iberian Peninsula, what we now call Spain and Portugal, was a vibrant patchwork of tribes and city-states, each with its own language, customs, and fierce sense of identity. It wasn't some empty land waiting for Rome to arrive, it was already alive with its own stories. These were the OGs, farmers who coaxed crops from rocky soil, miners who dug deep for precious metals, traders who bartered goods across dusty roads, and above all, warriors who defended their homes with unmatched courage. In the north, Celtic tribes arrived and mingled with the locals, giving rise to the Celtiberians, a unique blend of cultures, traditions, and fighting styles. Meanwhile in the south, Mediterranean traders like the Phoenicians and Greeks left their mark, bringing new ideas, goods and influences that would shape the region for generations. Life here was tough. Harsh weather, rugged mountains, and constant threats from rival tribes or invaders meant survival demanded strength, adaptability, and constant vigilance. Among all these tribes and settlements, one place stood out above the rest: Numancia, a small but mighty community perched high on the plains. Numancia wasn't rich or grand, but it was home to the Aravaci, a tribe renowned for their resilience, unity, and unbreakable spirit. The harsh environment forged the Aravaci into some of the most stubborn and formidable fighters the ancient world had ever seen, their determination as unyielding as the land itself. When the mighty Roman Empire came knocking, seeking to conquer and control, Numancia became legendary for its fierce defiance and refusal to surrender. This wasn't just a city, it was a powerful symbol of independence, fierce loyalty, and the unbreakable will to fight for freedom. The story of Numancia is about a small town that chose to stand its ground and fight for freedom, no matter the odds stacked against it. Their legacy? It reminds us that sometimes the fight in the dog really does matter more than the size of the dog, and that spirit can echo through history. Numancia sat atop Cerro de la Muela, a hill with a view and a purpose. This elevated position was not just for the scenery, it was a strategic choice that defined the city's history. Its high ground gave defenders a huge edge. Attackers faced a brutal uphill battle. The steep slopes and rugged terrain made any assault a daunting task. The city was the heart of the Aravaci, a tight-knit, fiercely independent tribe. They were known for their resilience and their ability to adapt to the harsh conditions of their environment. Numancia wasn't sprawling, just 20 acres of densely packed homes and winding streets. Every inch of space was utilized, reflecting the community's resourcefulness. But its real claim to fame? The walls. These were not just any walls, they were a testament to the ingenuity and determination of its builders. These weren't just barriers, they were engineering marvels, 4 kilometers long, reinforced with towers, and hugging the hill's contours. The walls were designed to blend seamlessly with the natural landscape. Gates were fortified, creating deadly choke points for any would-be invader. These choke points were meticulously planned to maximize defensive capabilities. The walls weren't just stone, they were a statement: you're not getting in. They symbolized the strength and unity of the Numancian people. As threats grew, so did the defenses. The Numancians were always upgrading, always ready. Their ability to adapt and improve was key to their survival. Their city was more than a home, it was a fortress built to endure. Every structure within the walls served a purpose in the grand design of defense. Every stone told a story of survival and stubbornness. The walls were a living record of the city's enduring spirit. For generations these walls held strong. They stood as a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of the Numancian people. And for a long time, so did Numancia. The city and its walls were a symbol of defiance and endurance, standing the test of time. Life in Numancia wasn't all about war, it was about survival. Most were farmers and herders, growing wheat and barley, raising cattle, sheep and pigs. Self-sufficiency was a must. You ate what you grew or raised. Homes were simple, built from stone and mud, with families and animals sharing close quarters. The streets buzzed with daily life. Kids playing, blacksmiths working, bread baking. Community was everything. Everyone depended on each other. They were skilled craftsmen too, making pottery with unique designs. But Rome was always looming. The Celtiberian Wars turned fighting into a way of life. Numancians became expert warriors wielding spears, shields, and the feared Iberian sword. Every man trained to defend his home. Their warrior culture wasn't about conquest, it was about protecting freedom, and that spirit would soon be put to the ultimate test. Decades of conflict with Rome finally boiled over in 134 BCE. Rome, tired of defeat, sent in their top general Scipio Aemilianus, the man who destroyed Carthage. He found the Roman army in shambles and whipped them into shape with brutal discipline. Scipio knew a direct assault was suicide, so he chose a different tactic: total siege. He brought 60,000 men to surround a city of just 4,000 warriors. The plan? Starve Numancia into submission. The Romans built a 9-kilometer ring of walls, ditches and towers, an impenetrable blockade. Even the river was dammed to cut off supplies and escape. Nothing in, nothing out. For Numancia, the world shrank to the space within their walls, encircled by Roman steel. The siege had begun. Inside, hope was all they had left. The fight for survival was on, and the world was watching. The Numancians didn't just wait. They fought back with everything they had, refusing to let fear or despair take hold. Their courage was matched only by their ingenuity as they prepared for the long struggle ahead. They launched daring raids, striking Roman lines and vanishing before the legions could react. These surprise attacks kept the Romans constantly on edge, never knowing when or where the next blow would fall. Their tactics were all about speed, surprise, and using the terrain to their advantage. The hills, forests, and rivers became their allies, turning the land itself into a weapon against the invaders. Roman accounts describe their ferocity, fighting to the last man, never surrendering. Even when outnumbered and wounded, the Numancians stood their ground, determined to defend their home. Leaders like Retigenes even broke through the siege to seek help, risking everything. Their bravery inspired others, showing that hope could survive even in the darkest times. Psychological warfare was part of the game. Taunts, insults, and displays of defiance rattled Roman morale. The Numancians knew that victory wasn't just about weapons, but about breaking the enemy's spirit. The siege became a war of attrition, of supplies and spirit. Both sides waited, hoping the other would falter first, as the days dragged into months. Inside the city, things grew desperate. Food ran out, animals were eaten, even leather was boiled for sustenance. Hunger gnawed at everyone, but the will to resist remained unbroken. Disease and starvation took hold, but the Numancians refused to break. Their suffering only strengthened their resolve, binding them together in shared hardship. For months they endured, turning their resistance into legend. The world outside watched in awe as the defenders held out against impossible odds. Their willpower became a symbol, unyielding even in the face of doom. The spirit of Numancia echoed far beyond its walls. The Romans faced not just warriors, but a spirit that wouldn't die. Every attempt to break them only made the Numancians more determined. Numancia's stand was about more than survival. It was about dignity. Their struggle became a story of honor, remembered for generations, and the world would never forget it. The legend of Numancia endures, a testament to the unbreakable human spirit. Let's talk weapons. The falcata was the Iberian warrior's signature blade. With its forward-curving, axe-like design, the falcata delivered devastating blows and agile thrusts. Forged by master blacksmiths, these swords combined hard steel edges with flexible iron cores. The result? Blades that were sharp, tough, and legendary. Stories of their strength, like bending the blade until hilt met tip, added to the myth. In battle, the falcata could cleave through Roman armor and shields. The Romans were so impressed they reinforced their gear and even adapted the design for their own gladius hispaniensis. Iberian craftsmanship left a mark on the conquerors themselves. The falcata wasn't just a weapon, it was a symbol of ingenuity and resistance. Even in defeat, the Iberians changed the course of military history. After 15 months, Numancia fell, but not in defeat. Rather than surrender, many Numancians chose death, burning their city and denying Rome a true victory. The Romans entered a city of ashes and silence, a haunting end to a brutal siege. Numancia's story became legend, a warning to empires and a rallying cry for freedom. In Spain, Defensa Numantina still means a last, desperate stand. The spirit of Numancia inspired generations, from wars against Napoleon to the Spanish Civil War. Today, the ruins are a monument to courage and sacrifice. The Falcata's legacy lived on, shaping the Roman gladius and making Spanish steel world famous. Numancia wasn't just a lost city, it became a symbol of resistance. Its story reminds us that courage and dignity can echo through centuries. When you think of ancient history, remember Numancia. It's not just a tale of loss, it's a timeless epic of defiance and legacy.